Start by thanking the residents of Windsor and the members of the media for pitching in last night and this morning and really helping each other out. Certainly it was a trying time and continues to be a trying time on resources for the city, but we're making great progress as I speak here today. I had a chance to, I just got back, I had a chance to go out to Liberty Road and of course drive down Liberty Road, talk to the neighbors. I had a chance to drive by Cowtex and by Grey Bar and some of the other areas affected in the industrial park. And there have been some real great stories of neighbors helping neighbors, and of course the local media working hard to help keep everyone informed. I was walking down Liberty Road and one of the residents came up to me and just said thanks for coming out to check on us. And you know, last night the first thing that I did, his house looked like it was one that was least impacted by the tornado. And he said the first thing that I did was walk out. He says, and all of the neighbors were just out kind of standing on their porches and in their front yards in disbelief, assessing what had happened on their street. And then they began one by one to go check on each other. They went door to door in that neighborhood to check on each other. Of course, these are people who know each other, they know their neighbors, and they made sure, before even police got there, before fire got there, they made sure that all their neighbors were safe and accounted for. And that really was a fantastic story. So while it hasn't been officially confirmed yet by Environment Canada, it certainly appears that we were hit by a tornado, and I think most people would agree if you saw the amount of devastation and the nature of the devastation that's occurred in that particular area. As you know from our earlier reports, there were 4 people injured, 3 were treated at hospital, and there were no critical injuries, which is quite amazing. Again, if you see the twisted metal that flew hundreds of meters away from where it started, if this had been just a couple hours ahead of time, if it happened at 5 o'clock during rush hour, the impact to those on the expressway or those around the transit building could have been much, much different. So full credit goes out to our emergency responders, our city crew workers who've been working overnight to continue to minimize whatever damage they could and to keep all of us from further harm. So here's where we're at this morning. Our 311 call center is open and they're taking service requests. If you see a situation that needs a city response, please call 311. But of course, please have patience. This is one of those days where we expect to have a high call volume, and it's going to take us some time to get to all the calls and of course get the resources out to individual situations. East Row Expressway, as most of you know and have reported, it was reopened earlier this morning, but there are still some closures to watch for in the areas of Liberty Road, Cowtex Drive, Deziel Drive, and the North Service Road. I was out on Liberty Road, as I said. Our forestry crew was out there taking care of business. Public work crews are out. They cleaned the majority of the expressway off so cars could go by. We did the street sweeping, but there's still some debris in the medians that needs to be taken care of, and we will get to that debris as time moves forward here and as traffic dies down. We won't do that during rush hours. So please give them some space to do their jobs. Power has been restored to most properties, and Enwin is working on the remainder as we speak. An amazing crew at Enwin. It's been amazing overnight to watch them mobilize their resources, and the work that they're doing to get temporary power restored is quite incredible. And of course, they're working very hard right now by the WDS facility. WDS provides a lot of services to FCA, to Chrysler, and so they're making sure that they can get those trucks out of that yard at WDS so they can continue to service their largest client and our largest employer in the city. At last check, there were approximately 40 properties still without power, but Enwin anticipates that number will continue to fall quickly and steadily. There were approximately 15 homeowners displaced last night who found accommodations with friends and family. We want those residents to know that our building inspection team will be on site to ensure that the properties are safe, but no one on Liberty Road, especially in the 3200 block, should re-enter a damaged building of any kind without first receiving the all clear from our building inspectors. And our building inspection team will be out. If you haven't already called, please call 311 and we will send someone out to make sure that your house is safe before you go back in. Some traffic signals have gone down. The majority of them are back up right now. Please continue to treat those as four-way stops. You'll notice at Central and EC Row, there are generators that are powering the traffic signals at that particular location, and we just ask you to use caution as you're moving through that particular area. Transit Windsor the building on Central sustained a considerable amount of damage. For those who have photos, you've seen it. Things that were blown off the roof, solar panels off the roof, trees uprooted, windows blown out because of the pressure. But Transit Windsor, thanks to Enwin, was able to have power restored last night. All operations are running normal today, and again, amazing job by Enwin and Transit Windsor to make that happen. As far as we know right now, all gas leaks have been safely addressed, so I'd like to thank Union Gas for their efforts. They worked through the night as well. But if anyone knows of a gas leak, smells a gas leak of any kind, please call the Enwin, or the Union Gas rather, emergency number 1-877-969-0999. And I said this last night, and I know it's human nature. Everyone wants to go around and have a look. I did what I did on Liberty Road when I was out. I did a Facebook live stream. I did a Periscope stream. There's lots of social media out there. You're not going to get any better pictures by going there yourself. But please, if you have an interest in this, I respect that. It's human nature. But just follow the social media feeds. Go to the Windsor Star, CTV, AM 800, Blackburn. Who did I miss here? Anyone? Please, just visit those sites, visit social media and get your picture. We ask you to please not drive around in that area. It creates congestion, and we're still working very hard to clean up debris. And you'll notice that there's twisted metal hanging on hydro wires throughout part of that area. And so there are safety concerns with respect to the damage that we do see, and we want to minimize any further impact to people in the area. So please just be cognizant of that, and I appreciate everyone doing their best to stay away from those areas. So lastly, before I take questions, I just want to say thank you one more time to everyone for looking out for each other and really making this emergency have as little impact as possible. We had no warning, and I know there's been some comments on social media. People have sent me messages saying, we should have a tornado emergency warning system. Drew, why don't we have this in the city of Windsor? And quite frankly, a system like that only works when you have advance notice. And this was the case. If you talk to Environment Canada and you listen to the reports today, they had no warning. They had no idea that this was going to happen. So there would have been no way, even if we had that system, to let the residents know, because there was no message coming from Environment Canada. So we had no warning. There was no warning to give. But I want to say that the community has done a tremendous job of coming together. And most importantly here, no lives have been lost. There have been no critical injuries. At the end of the day, this is all just stuff. It's all just buildings. I guarantee the majority of these businesses and building owners are insured, and they'll go through their insurance process. The adjusters will be on site, and repairs will happen in due course, in the normal course of things. So we really, as far as I'm concerned, we're very lucky with this event. There is significant damage. That damage will be repaired over time. And I want to thank police. I want to thank fire. Chief Montone is here. Mark Winterton in Public Works, the City Engineer's Office, really mobilizing great efforts overnight to make things happen. Transit Windsor, Union Gas, Enwin, like I said, has been absolutely remarkable. All of their crews have been out. Our forestry team working through the night. In some difficult conditions, obviously, with down power wires and trying to take trees out in the dark. And so it's been trying. It's certainly been trying for staff, but they've really mobilized well. They've done a great job, and I'm very proud of all of the efforts of our entire team and what they've done to help get us to this point. So with that, I'll stop talking and be happy to take any questions you might have.
So you went last night and this morning?
I went last night, so I was at home last night, and I was sitting on the couch, and I was looking at social media, and I see that a tornado touched down, or reports of a tornado had touched down in Laslle, and then it wasn't very long thereafter. The M800 website had a video of the tornado itself. So I said to my daughter, I just want to go, see what's going on here, because it wasn't just a few minutes later after the Laslle incident. I had been receiving reports through the fire chief and the police chief that there were issues at Cowtex and on Walker Road. So I said to my daughter, let's go see the extent of the damage. So we went out, and of course it was dark by then. It was tough to get a clear picture of the damage, but it was readily apparent, even on initial glimpse at the Cowtex plant, that there had been some significant damage. And so in conversations with other folks and calling the fire chief, I said it's probably prudent that we open the EOC. Let's mobilize the staff. Let's get all the resources here, the department heads here, so that we're on the same page. We know that we're allocating the resources that we have efficiently and effectively, which is exactly what we did. And I think that's why the response has been so good to date.
So I guess from last night to this morning, when you went this morning, just your thoughts. Like, how would you describe it?
Well, I would say if you walk down Liberty Road, the best answer to your question, Rob, is you know, all of us watch TV, we all watch CNN and follow social media, and it's the type of event that you see that happens in other communities. You never anticipated that it would happen in your community. And so when it does happen in your community and you see that level of devastation, it's striking, quite frankly. There's a lot of damage on Liberty Road, a lot of damage in the industrial park, and you know, it's a lot different when it's your own community than watching it on TV and having a passive view of it.
I understand what you're saying about the fact that this one came out of nowhere, but it could be possible that in the future there would be storms that we would have some sort of inkling that it's on its way. Do you think that there's any chance that conversations at least would be starting about some kind of system, either for Windsor, or is that an Environment Canada?
No, I think your question's appropriate, and I think it's right for us to have the conversation and figure out if there is a system that we can employ that would allow us to give advance warning, and maybe not just for weather events, but for other events that are happening in the city that residents need to know about. And so we've had conversations with the fire chief. He's looked at a system already, and as a matter of fact has mentioned that there's something coming in budget for council's consideration that was already planned. So we'll have that discussion at council, but this type of event I think certainly reinforces you know, the benefit of that type of system, notwithstanding the fact that even if we had that system, it wouldn't have worked in this particular case because there was no advance warning from Environment Canada.
Do you have any concern about we're supposed to get more rain this afternoon, heavy deluge last night, any concerns about flooding, anything like that, or the rain causing problems for cleanup crew?
Yeah, so, well, that would be an issue. Obviously, if it starts raining, it becomes more difficult for hydro workers to do their job. And so they're out there now. All crews are mobilized out there now. And of course, we're going to keep our eye on the weather and do our best to get as much work done in advance of any bad weather that would come today. But we'll have to play the hand that we're dealt. And if it starts raining and we have to deal with more issues, we will.